Welcome into the Barking Browns. I'm Casey Kenneman. That's Nick Carnes. Our man Jacob Roach will be joining us momentarily from a remote facility. We're not even sure. It's parts unknown type stuff. He may be kidnapped. I'm not sure what's going on. As always, we're brought to you by SeatGeek. Check out the code below. Put that in. Go get yourself some tickets. Go see something live. I don't know. Maybe you want to see the Browns play the Green Bay Packers here a week from Sunday. Maybe if you go to that game, you see me and Nick smiling faces. So do yourself a favor. Drop that code in. Save yourself some money, and let's get it. So, Nick, how we doing tonight?
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, too. Don't forget that's when they're debuting the new brown helmets, the all brown. I'm pretty excited about that. And I'll tell you what, I see Jeff's over here. I'm feeling like an old man today because I went running today. It finally warmed back up. It's like 70 degrees here. It was in the 60s for a while. And I went running today, and my knee is feeling it. I'm feeling good. Maybe my knee not so much, but not too bad, man. Not too bad. Better than you would expect after a loss, I think.
I'm super hoping that it's like 60 when I go up there, though. That's what I'm looking forward to. Like one thing that, because I don't get to go to Ohio very often, and I definitely don't get to go to Northern Ohio near enough. I'm hoping I have to bring a hoodie.
Oh,
like that, for me, that would be a welcome surprise if I have to bring a hoodie.
okay.
I love hoodie weather. I'm a hoodie aficionado, so that's my goal. You guys probably don't want that. You guys want to stay a little nicer, a little longer. But I haven't really spoke with you. Got any FaceTime since the game on Sunday? So let's start there. Let's just start with your takeaways, the positive, the negative. I just kind of want to get your state of the union after the Week 1 loss to Cincinnati.
Okay. I think I'll kind of go back and forth. I think my biggest positive. My biggest positive is that Joe Flacco still looks like he can sling it. And there were a lot of people that were saying that after his time in Indianapolis that he was washed, said the same thing after he was in New York. And like I have been on the Joe Flacco train, but it was really nice to see it, that he could still do it. Pass for the fifth most yards in Week 1. Operated an offense that absolutely should have scored a lot more points than they did. And so to me, just him still looking, and ever since you said it, the on the field avatar of Kevin Stefanski, it just is there, man. It fits. It looks good. I feel confident in Joe Flacco and his ability to lead the passing offense. Negatives, a negative is just the mistakes, man. Just the mistakes. I think we can just bundle all of it together, whether it's drops or missed kicks or some of the, not too many penalties, but still some stupid ones. I have never seen two drops like that just go right into the arms of the defender. Just pain, man.
Yeah, and I've seen some comments like, well, Flacco needs to throw a better ball. And I understand a lot of people don't understand the nuances of playing that position, but like a lot of the times you're throwing it to where only your guy can get it. It's your guy or nobody. And both those balls fit that exact description. It's low and away. Your guy goes down and secures it. And we're not even having this conversation. Both of them kind of get volleyball set it up in the air right into the laps of defenders. It's very rare to even see one of those and throughout a season for a team, let alone two in the same game. But yeah, those mistakes. And when you look at that game as a whole, what the Browns were able to do offensively, even though you're only putting up 16 points, but you're literally doubling their output. You're 347 yards, like 145. You're literally 22 first downs to their 11. Like that's a game you should win by double digits when you're doing that kind of work to an opponent and outworking their offense. And their offense is vaunted. It's if you were to poll any NFL fan across the league, they name the top 5 NFL offenses. Cincinnati's going to be on that list. So the fact that your offense was able to keep pace with them and outduel them, but still come up short, and we've been on the losing end of some wacky stuff. So this isn't new for us that you could dominate a game like that and still end up coming up on the wrong side of it. But it's the mistakes, it's 4 plays. 4 plays separate you not just from winning the game, but winning the game by double digits. And that is sad. Talk about the defense, man. What gets you excited about this defense, what you saw on Sunday?
Okay, so I think the rookie class as a whole is very exciting in their contributions, but the defense specifically. And I was going to go here with this game. It kind of reminded me of, I think, the game in Pittsburgh when I agree. I still feel optimistic. I'm still optimistic, but it reminded me of the game where the Browns lose Nick Chubb in Pittsburgh.
Mm.
They end up losing that game, but it was another one of those things where you looked at the stats and the Browns defense held the Kenny Pickett offense to virtually zero production for the whole game, and they still found a way to lose. And it's like, you did that for the most part, especially in the second half against the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins offense. Lost both games, but still, I'm coming away encouraged by that. I just think the defense, man, we talked about the pass rush. We talked about the pass rush, and we saw it. We saw it. They beat Joe Burrow up. It was nice to see Myles Garrett looking, the hip injury popped up and everybody collectively held their breath, that type of thing. I thought Greg Newsome was really encouraging. Mm-hmm. That excited me to see him back outside and covering. They did a really good job on those receivers. I would not be surprised if they end up going off multiple times and we look back on this game. I said myself, I was like, this it wouldn't surprise me at all if this was the Bengals' worst offensive output of the year. And so I think probably the biggest encouraging thing about the defense, and we could go into specific players, but it's just, to me, in 2023, everyone said whenever the Browns played a good quarterback, that's when they struggled. And I know the Browns have been able to really wallop on Joe Burrow a couple of times, but still a guy that's going to go out there and throw for 400 yards at 4 touchdowns, probably multiple times this year. And so to look like that against him, hell of a performance, man.
It's really easy for us because last year kind of being a throwaway year to really think back to 23 and what that defense meant. And when I think of the characteristics, it's just fast and physical. And you saw them kind of pick up right there. They were a very fast and physical team. You said it. Joe had to pick his ass up off the dirt a lot on Sunday. He was constantly having to, get a hand to get picked up. And it wasn't just Myles Garrett. McGuire was in there. We're seeing some flash from the inside. Carson Schwechinger's a dog. I think that's pretty much, that's already kind of announced itself. And the rest of the NFL viewing world will catch on shortly. He's an animal. He'll be everywhere. But I do think that we need to highlight the cornerbacks because that was a concern for me coming into that game. And not the skill level. We know Denzel's, we know what he is. He's one of the best cover corners in the game. We know Greg is probably more equipped to play on the outside, so for him to get that opportunity and show what he could do with it. But like to shut down the guys that they shut down, I think that speaks volume of what they're prepared to do this year. Obviously, their depth will be tested. Denzel's probably going to get banged for a few games. Pause, and then you never know what there's going to give opportunities for Miles Harden. Look good in his opportunities out there. They played a lot of three safety sets. But you're seeing the genetic makeup for a team that can compete just because of the defense. If the offense continues to come along and can produce more of a running game, you could see where this, they're going to compete with pretty much every team they play with. Let's go ahead and transition. The game obviously didn't go the way you want. You're starting off 0-1 and you're staring down the barrel of going to Baltimore. And we'll get into the specifics of what's going to happen on Sunday in Baltimore as far as celebrations and people being honored and all those things. We'll get into that. But first off, you come out of that Cincinnati game completely healthy. Right. Jack Conklin was the only person that went out of that game with an eye injury, and it really never got talked about what exactly the eye injury was, but it kept him out of that game. But he's already back at practice. This team has nobody missing practice. I don't remember that in my adult life, where everyone's healthy. You're going into that, and so. Obviously, that's a step in the right direction. But today we kind of get word that Quinshon Judkins is in New York, 345 Park Avenue, meeting with NFL investigators, and he's expected to be in Berea tomorrow and practicing. So I think that if we're looking at the shortcomings of what the offense, what it couldn't do is it didn't have a strong running game. You might be adding Quinshon Judkins, and it might be a very limited factor. He might not even play this week. I mean, it's all up in the air right now.
Yeah.
But I think that is just the addition of him is something to be excited about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'll say this just about the run game. I did think Dylan Sampson showed some flash, man. You know what? Especially the pass catching ability. But you drafted Dylan Sampson to be the complement to Quinshon Judkins. Mm-hmm. Them to complement each other, right? You can't. And we saw what happened with Jerome Ford, man. That's that's a square peg in a round hole. And it's like Dylan Sampson's just not, he's not that power guy like Quinshon is. It's you. That's the element that you were missing from the offense. But just to come out of the game healthy is a huge plus. Man, there's guys getting hurt all over the league, and I mean it's never an easy task to go into Baltimore and beat them. But just to know, and Michael Hall started practicing last week. Right, still practicing this week. You're already looking at. I mean, that was the most dominant defensive performance of week one that nobody's talking about, right? Yeah. Because you lose the game, and I get that, but it's still a hell of a performance. And if you think about adding Michael Hall to that mix, and you've got and I think the biggest thing too is just that the rookies. You have a lot of rookies out there, right? Mm. And to get their first game under their belt and get that past them and to keep moving forward, it's like, I remember, I mean, Carson Schlesinger is already crazy, but I remember how JOK like it just started progressing in leaps and bounds. And so I think that's the biggest reason I feel so optimistic about all of this is suddenly you've really infused a lot of young talent. And I'm very curious to see what happens with Quinshon, because they just don't have that element in the run game without him. And I mean, they drafted him in the second round for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're missing that explosive element between the tackles. And you can run Dylan between the tackles, but that's not his strong suit. And obviously you're going to have to do what you got to do. And there's going to be games where those are kind of interchangeable. But I think the point that they just complement each other's skill sets. Like if you look at and obviously there's always the thunder lightning type of thing, but it's, you have someone who's physical and someone who's just unbelievably shifty in open space. And I just and also something they reverted to from, if you look at when Stefanski first got to Cleveland in 20 and 21, was a ton of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the field, sometimes 3. We saw a ton of that in those early years, and they kind of got away from it. Well, with the addition of Harold Fannin Jr., you are all the way back into 12 personnel. You're living in 12 personnel. Yep. And I can see a real reality where this actually morphs into like a 22 personnel when you're having 2 tight ends on the field and 2 running backs at the same time. And you're just able to constantly cause mismatches with Sampson and Fannin because of their ability to kind of split out and jump in the slot, jump in the backfield, you know what I mean? And just seek mismatches and just keep this thing moving. So I'm excited to see where it could go. I'm going to be guarded until we get the information. But even if he does play this week, I can't see him getting an ungodly amount of touches. Probably want to acclimate him. You obviously missing as much time as he did. Last thing you want to do is get him back and immediately get him a soft tissue injury by pushing him too hard. And obviously we got to hope he's been in shape and in the playbook and all these things. And we won't know till it comes to fruition. But I'll be excited to see if he's a full participant in practice tomorrow and wonder what that means for the running back room long term. I know a lot of people are already shoot forward to the moon, and that's a possibility. But I still feel they trust him, and they'll probably keep him in the fold, even if it's until Quinshon fully gets his legs under him, and maybe there's something that happens at that point. Go ahead.
I mean, because Ford's the only guy in that room with experience. I'd say like Rocket Sanders just got here, a few weeks ago, and you just drafted Dylan Sampson. Like you'll rarely find a running back room without at least one guy that the coaching staff that has been ingrained in it. And so it's I'm frustrated at watching Jerome Ford run into this wall where there's a lane that way. I'm frustrated by that too, but you got to recognize that the coaching staff trusts him, and that's the situation.
Yeah, it's and it's easy for us as fans to get frustrated because we've seen a few seasons of Ford now, and there'll be sparks. You'll see things like, he's a decent outlet back. He doesn't really run routes, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield on some swing routes, stuff like that. But then when you see what Sampson's able to do in that department, it's like, well, I don't need you to really do that anymore then. Sampson is much more a receiver type running back. And he definitely has that. And he already has the trust of Flacco. I think that's the thing that I go back to is between Sampson and Fannin, Flacco's already all in on those dudes. They were receiving volume, and they're already an integral part of this offense and what it's going to be going forward. Let's talk about the receivers just a little bit before we move on to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So we kind of went into this year thinking we're probably only going to see 2-3 receiver sets. Mostly it's going to be Judy, it's going to be Tillman, it's going to be Thrash. Thrash kind of disappeared in this game. We really didn't there wasn't really a ton of movement there. But what did you see out of Cedric Tillman? What
You know,
struck you in this game?
I was really curious to see because we talked a couple weeks ago about how Flacco tried to go to Tillman in his first stint here, and they
Mhm.
just couldn't get on the same page. It was really frustrated with him. So one of the things I was just personally watching for in this game was to see if there was some chemistry there, because obviously there was. He was trying to get Tillman, like he saw the opportunity there with Cedric, and I know that drop sucks. Okay, but just to see Flacco going to him consistently and treating him like the big body receiver he is in the red zone was really nice to see. You
Mhm.
can tell, like, did I believe it was Joe Flacco who threw so much to Anquan Bolden, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And obviously Cedric Tillman's not Anquan Bolden, but I just remember that he loved that big body, big target, wide wingspan receiver, and it's just like, and Jerry Judy's definitely gonna get his, but it's just like Tillman offers a skill set that there just isn't outside of him in that wide receiver room, and I loved it, man. I loved it. Yes, he made a real boneheaded mistake, but a lot of people talked preseason too. They said, "Oh, well, in this like 4-game sample size before Cedric Tillman was lost for the season, he was really good."
Mhm.
And I do a lot of fantasy, and so they were talking. There's a lot of chatter about like if that's a legitimate sample size and if he can pick up where he left off. And to me, in week one, the answer to that question is yes.
So the catch that I get excited for isn't even the touchdown. There was a boundary catch where he's so strong in his hands. You see him stab with his hands and literally holds the ball with one as he's falling out of bounds and completely in control. Like someone who's it feels like he's really attacked his craft as a receiver, you know. And the one thing that was encouraging to me is because both Judy and Tillman in their consequence interviews after the volleyball sets they did, they took ownership. They say they have to be better. They know that, you know, they said all the right things, and I think they're attacking it in the right way. But based how this offense is, I think that's pretty much going to be what we see. I think we're going to see 2-3 receivers predominantly. They may scheme some stuff for Bond. You know, we'll see if Larvadan gets into the mix down the road. But I think that's what our offensive style is going to be. I think it's going to be limited receivers. And I think there's going to be some packages when we have 2 running backs and 2 tight ends and maybe Tillman on the field where we're just the bigger physical team, and you can see a shift in playing nasty football like that, and that makes me excited. I like that blood and guts style. Not a lot of teams can pull it off. A lot of teams don't have 2 tight ends that they can be real weapons, and as well as 2 running backs, and kind of create that kind of havoc.
I'm sure you. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sure you guys shared this stat the last time you were live, but to set the week one rookie tight end catching record along with Tyler Warren with
Mm-hmm.
7, it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool to see, man. It's so rare that rookie tight ends get involved like that, let
Yeah.
alone a rookie tight end who is drafted to a team with a well-established tight end. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it
Wait,
just speaks to Kevin and what they want to do offensively.
which I think is the key, though. I don't think Fannin works by himself at this stage, as this early in his career. But
Sure.
having the fact that you have David there to do the traditional tight end stuff, and then you just use Fannin as a Swiss Army knife and put him all over the formation: 16 snaps in slot, 11 in inline, 3 as a running back, 1 as a quarterback, 4 times out wide. Like if you're a defensive coordinator, you're constantly, where's 44? Where's 44? And we've seen other with like Likely and Andrews. Andrews is more of that traditional, and Likely is more of that Y guy. You can just kind of move him all over the formation and cause issues. But it's the fact that he's able to do it so soon into his career. Because to your point, as far as offensive play outside of quarterback's a different animal. But all the other positions, the one that's usually the hardest to acclimate is a rookie tight end. They've just put all the stuff on his plate, and he's just taking it. And it's obviously going to be a massive part of what they're doing going forward, which makes me the kid's just turned 21 in July. Like he's actually younger than David was when David was drafted. And we talked about that for 6 years, how young David was. And it didn't make sense that he was that young and been here this long. You kind of see the progression, but I do see people already being like, well, maybe he's Njoku's replacement. I don't think that's what they're doing here. I don't think you're going to ask Harold Fannin to do Njoku things. I think he's a unicorn. Let him be a unicorn. Let him be just a walking mismatch.
Right. Well, I mean, people, it seems like people have short-term memories. That wasn't so long ago when we were still running the Kevin Stefanski offense, which keep in mind, we have gone back, that you had Njoku. I always forget the tight end.
Harrison Bryant.
Yeah, yes,
Austin
Harrison Bryant
Hooper.
and Austin Hooper, right? All in
Mhm,
that tight end room at the same time and all being used. Like Kevin loves his multi
mhm.
tight ends. He loves it. And so I just think that it's further proof that he's putting his stamp on this, which I am very encouraged by.
Yeah, and he's never had a tight end with this skill set. He's never had a tight end too that's as alignment versatile as someone like Harold Fannin Jr. So it's very exciting to see where they go. The rookies all balled out. I think that's probably the biggest source of optimism is what these rookies were able to do in their very first appearance. It makes you feel like it's all coming together. But let's go ahead and transition, man. So now you're going to Baltimore, and I didn't realize this when the schedule was made. I even heard that it was going to be their 30th anniversary. I didn't know they were basically scheduling us for fucking homecoming. And the and I'm a little older than you guys, but to understand, when I read what I read, that they're going to be doing their 30th anniversary this Sunday with us in the building and honoring Ozzie fucking Newsome, the 16-year-old in me wanted to slash throats. Like I was irate. It took me right back to that moment when I came home and saw Sports Center that the move was happening. Like it created that pit in my stomach, and I'm not a typical Browns fan. I usually don't just shit on Baltimore. I'll say I think they're one of the better drafting teams. They handle free agency well. This is as classless of a move as I can possibly fucking imagine. It's completely classless. Do you think when the Indianapolis Colts celebrate their anniversary, are they doing it when they're playing Baltimore? Like it's just so crass, man, and it's dirt in our face,
Yeah.
and I understand it because it's always going to mean more to us as fans than it does the players. These players weren't even born when this shit happened, Now maybe like Denzel has a different link to it because his parents grew up in the area, so maybe but like for me, it's an open wound still that it has not healed, and for them to be doing this, man, it's just completely classist. I've lost all respect, and this is an organization that I would tell you normally does things the right way, and I couldn't feel more opposite about anything.
I don't know what it is about the Browns, man, but teams just want to throw dirt at us. They just do. I can think of like Antonio Brown cleating our punter, or just like all those the Steelers primarily, but it seems like the Ravens have fallen right into that vein as well, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And I hope I listened to Ken Carman this morning, and he was going through like a pseudo, motivational speech. I hope they play on that, man. I hope they play on it. They come out with fire. I hope they use it. That's what you want, right? Like,
Yeah.
like the greats, the great ones, and the great teams. They just find, like, I remember all those years the Patriots just found ways to say people doubt us or whatever. And I mean, I know we're talking apples and oranges here, but the point is, like, you saw a hell of a performance on, especially from the defense against the Bengals, man. And I think if they use that same fire, I don't think it's so crazy to think that the Browns could win this game. I don't. I think they have to be the team that wants it more. And I'll tell you what. Baltimore got punched in the mouth by Buffalo, and they folded, man. They folded. They thought they had that. They were cruising, and they let that one go. So I'll tell you what. If the Browns go in there and they punch them again, I think they got a chance, man.
Well, the one thing that we kind of need to see, and because in 23 we had this amazing defense, but the defense did struggle on the road.
Right.
So that's the next step in this evolution for me is, can you do that in their building? Because if you can do that in their building, you 100% will have a chance. But this isn't the same animal as Cincinnati. Cincinnati's more of a finesse type game. This will be a knockdown drag out. There's nothing to compare it to. You can't practice against a Lamar Jackson. You can't simulate what that's like. You can't simulate Derrick Henry coming downhill on you. You know what I mean? It's a whole different beast that you're going to be facing. But the one thing we're talking about, the disrespect that they showed, basically, and it's not the players, they're disrespect the fans who watch this team get sucked away to Baltimore and all the negative things that came with it, But the players kind of seem to be more pissed about the point spread. That's kind of what I was picking up on when I was listening to interviews, that they're at 11.5-point dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine by me. If that's what it takes to motivate them, I'm fine. Like, they're not going to feel my pain from when I'm 16. Like, I can't transfer. If I could, I would, bro. If I could transfer that to that defensive locker room, the pain that I feel, I would. But if that's what it takes for them to get up for this, that's great. But if you go into Baltimore, even if you do, I know this is going to sound crazy, even if you don't win, but you take them to the limit, I think the rest of the league will have to start taking you seriously, because they don't right now. Still, right, even after what we did to the Cincinnati, I've listened to several national people just think that Bengals had a bad day. And I think that that's short-sighted. You're ignoring what this defense was able to actually do. If they can take that kind of same game to Baltimore, which Baltimore's a machine, man. They ran for over 250 yards on Buffalo. I know that we're a better defense than Buffalo.
Yep.
But what does that look like? Does that mean we hold them to 125? Which would be a gargantuan effort if you're facing Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Yeah, that's true, Bill. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. So if you were to look at Baltimore, where do you see them being? What do you think their weaknesses are? Where do you think the Browns can attack on Baltimore?
Okay, well, they let Josh Allen pass all over the yard. Like, if I'm not mistaken, James Cook only had like 44 yards on the ground. So they were pretty. If I don't have a box score in front of me, but just from seeing it, they were pretty stout on the ground, man. Where they gave it up is in the air, and I still believe. Well, okay. Let me back up for a second. Joe Flacco's coming home. I think this might be Joe Flacco's first return to Baltimore. I don't know if he has since he left.
I think he's played them, but I don't think he's been in Baltimore, if I remember correctly.
Okay, there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history there, and I bet you're going to get your best Joe Flacco. I bet you're going to get your best Joe Flacco, and which leads me to, you got to attack him in the air, man. You just had this revelation of Harold Fannin. There were a couple of plays left on the field by David Njoku that looked like they could have busted big. I just think if you don't drop those balls, you're having a hell of a day passing and receiving. I think you got to attack Baltimore. Like, I don't know what Quinshawn's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I just don't know I don't think the Browns have the power run game at this point to try to beat them that way. I think they just got to come out firing, and I think that Buffalo showed Baltimore's secondary can be beat.
So Marlon Humphrey got hurt in that game. I haven't heard anything from that yet. I didn't check their injury report today, but he did come out of that game, and he's primarily been playing nickel for him.
Give me a second.
Well, no, it's already there. He needs to check his DM.
Oh, he's here.
There he is.
We found him. Hey, Smexy Pants.
Oh, what's up?
How's the Taliban treating you, brother?
They remodeled this entire building except for my break room. It's literally like you can just like
pretty swanky.
It's pretty great place to eat your lunch.
Hey man, it's the studio though.
Yeah, wow.
All right. Well, we got Nick's takeaways from the game, and we transitioned to the disrespect of Baltimore basically scheduling us for their homecoming game.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it, man?
Dude, one thing I did want to note, I hope I'm not saying the wrong player here. I believe it was Carson Schlesinger who was asked about this and like made the comment that I know the history. So, which tells me this has been a conversation in the locker room. Like they've at least brought it up. Like, is it going to be, is it bulletin board material? It really is, because I think they've shown in recent years, especially, that they understand how passionate these fans are. Now, the rookies are a little bit different. They played in front of the fans one time, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's literally only they were in the preseason which was also only one time. So I guess they've kind of experienced it twice. So I guess it's a little different for them. But I do think the players understand how passionate we are, and by knowing that what happened 30 years ago, I do feel like it's bulletin board material, and I do feel like you could do it any other fucking Sunday. You could do it any other Sunday. Like, I don't listen. I was 4 when this happened, so I'm not in the same position that you were, Casey, in a sense where like you were coming home from school, you turned on the TV, and you're like, what the fuck? Like I don't remember that, but I can remember my dad like as a kid, like, and I can remember, a couple years later when they came back, I remember how he, the excitement that was when they were coming back and everything. And, and I've talked to so many people that remember the move on a level that I just can't because I was too little. So I understand it. And I understand how I would feel if that happened this year. Like if this happened, if they moved this year to Baltimore, if it had happened this year, I know exactly how it would have felt. So I have a good idea how you guys felt back then. It's kind of a dick move to me. Like, I just don't think we needed to do that. And it's like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Just, you texted this earlier in the group chat. You said if there was ever a karma game, ever an opportunity for a karma game, that this would be the time for it. And I always want to beat Baltimore. I always want to beat Pittsburgh. I always want to beat Cincinnati, but I've never wanted to beat Baltimore more in my entire life than right now.
And like we talked about, it's hard to convey that to the players who weren't even born when this happened. What that would mean. But like, they all played college, they all played high school. They know what it means when you were scheduled as the homecoming game.
Right.
You are the lamb to slaughter. That's what you are when they do that. So I'm hoping they at least get it on that level. The disrespect.
I can say for a fact, I played high school football. For a team that one of our biggest rivals. There's a game that we always played last game of the year. We played Nelsonville, York, the last game of the year every year, and they've been playing. I went to Alexander High School, and they've been playing to 30, 40, 50 years. I think they've been playing each other. When I graduated high school, we had never a single time beat them. It never happened. Never happened. That's actually where State Senator Jay Edwards went to high school, was Nelsonville, York. And we never beat them. And, and then we played Athens, where Joe Burrow went, and we got our asses kicked all the time. I remember my senior year, we were 5 people's homecoming because that's what it was. You knew you were going to kick our asses. Like, and I think we ruined a couple because we beat Vinton County for the first time in 42 years. That was cool. But, like, that's the school I played for, right? So, like, yeah, I remember what it felt like, to be that thing. And, those guys are sitting there going and being like, yeah, it's the Browns. Like, we're just like, I know it's their first home.
Yeah, they played in Buffalo.
Okay, that's what I had to think about that for a second. I obviously knew who they played, but I was like, where was it? I understand it's their first home game, and sometimes you're going to be like, that's probably what they would say. Oh, it was just we were doing it our first home game. Yeah, no, like, fuck you. Yeah.
I hope that they have a tremendous opportunity to show heart and to just like the expectation is that the Baltimore's going to kick the Browns' ass, and I would like, even if Casey, you were going down this road, although no, I want to win. I can't. I think after the way you lost week 1, you gotta win. You gotta win. I know that's like a monumental task. I get it, but there's a lot of motivation here, man. That I feel like you definitely. I'll tell you this, as someone who's right around Jacob's age, I was too young to understand like what the team moving meant really. But what pulled me into Browns fandom is my family had a huge get together for when the Browns came back, and I like got captivated in that fervor that like all these important people to me felt. And I remember when they came back and what that was like. And so yeah, man, it's you got to kick some Baltimore ass. You have to. I don't know. You got it. When's the last time they won in Baltimore? Is that? Oh, that is the Sean Watson game.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not that long.
In 23. And you beat these guys last year as well. You split with these guys last several years. Listen, I know it seems weird when you look at it because there's this perception of big brother, little brother, but like since Kevin Stefanski's been here, you've competed inside the division each year, and you're splitting a lot of these games. But it's tougher to get the one in Baltimore. I think that's the key here. But because you put yourself behind the 8 ball with a loss, like I'm not going to go so far as to call it a must win, but you would erase a lot of bullshit if you pulled this one off, man. This would be a massive one. Jacob, when you look at Baltimore, what do you see as their weaknesses? Where do you think the Browns can exploit Baltimore?
Man, Jair Alexander looked old, didn't he? It was very clear, and like I still have respect for Jair Alexander because, especially even last year, like their corner that came over from Green Bay, like he's just not been healthy for I think last like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it feels like it's been about 4 years since he's been healthy.
And if you remember, for the longest time, the Browns were scolded because they picked the wrong corner because they took Denzel Ward over Jair Alexander. Mm-hmm. They were in the same draft class. Suck my dick on that one. But I'm very interested to see how the offensive line goes against that defensive line because there were some issues at times where I think the Browns didn't take a lot of shot plays because I don't think they felt like they could stand in the pocket long enough against the Bengals. When I look at Baltimore, it's a very good defensive line, but there's not a Trey Hendrickson. So, like, that becomes the question where I felt like Josh Allen was able to create quite – and I get it. Josh Allen, Joe Flacco are not the same person. Yeah, let's not get that shit twisted. And I don't sit here and think that like that's what I'm trying to say. But Josh Allen was able to create explosives. Kyle Hamilton, you need to know where he's at all times because he could wreck some shit. But I didn't think their corners were great. Like, especially Jair Alexander. Like, I'd be going after him. I really am very interested to see what the tight ends can do. But they let up a lot of passing yards, man, and I thought they let up some big plays. I thought they had some busted coverages and things, and stuff like that gets cleaned up, right? Like from week 1 to week 2, just because like a lot of that shit is week 1 stuff. Yeah. But I think that applies to the Browns' offensive line and overall run game scheme. So I think you can pick on their corners, at least one of them, a little bit. Be careful not to get too crazy and draw Kyle Hamilton's attention. Yeah. But hey, man, they gave up a lot of points. They gave up some big plays. So defense isn't as stout as we thought it was. Again, it's fucking Josh Allen. So I don't think you're going to go out there and drop 40, but I do think you can throw the ball on him a little bit.
All right, let's answer this question right here because she has a point. Browns defense good, offense not so much. You're not going to beat the Ravens with 16 points. I concur. You're not going to beat the Ravens with 16 points. Right. What is the point? What is the points though? What number do you think you could get to where you would feel like, okay, now we're in the ballpark?
27.
I was gonna say if they hit 30, I feel like they would.
I feel good about 30. I feel good about 30, but if you're saying the absolute lowest, I'd say 27.
It's probably right in there.
I think you could hold them to 24. That's as low as I'm willing to bet. Yeah,
and that's a credit to Baltimore. Like they're a machine, man. They're not trying to be anything they're not. They know what they do and they do it. You know what I mean? It's because if we're just game planning, if we're like, okay, how do you stop the Ravens? Well, I can say it pretty easily. You got to be disciplined in your run fits. And that means you're going to give up some 8-9 yard chunks, but you just got to stay disciplined because the second you get out of your lane, it's over. But you gang tackle. You got to force Lamar to throw that ball outside of the numbers, take away the middle of the field, and control the escape lanes from Lamar Jackson. All those things sound like simple things to say. When you put them all together, there's going to be 3 or 4 plays in the game that just get away from you because that's how talented Lamar Jackson is and Derrick Henry.
Do you want to know? I know you guys are going to laugh because I've said this to you guys a million times, but if you want to like epitomize like what it's like to play Lamar, I just go back to the time that Jadeveon Clowney threw his shoe.
Yeah.
When they were chasing Lamar all over the field, and they had him dead to rights on probably like it felt like every play almost. I know it wasn't, but they had him dead to rights on probably 7 or 8 plays, and they didn't get him. They just never got him. And Jadeveon Clowney just gets so pissed off he throws his shoe, and it's like, you can't take that penalty. You can't do that. But like, I get it. Because, like, no matter how good you are, he is going to make plays, some plays.
Mm-hmm. I think Broken Arrow brings up a good point here. And this is something this defense, even though they've been as stingy as we've seen them be and the things they can do to rally around the football and stuff, but they really haven't created turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be the great equalizer in this game. That has to be something you can't – obviously you're down – 2 turnovers at Cincinnati, you lose that game. In a game, you dominate. So that's the great equalizer. How many turnovers do you think that it would take? Like, if you can limit yourself to 1 turnover in the game against Baltimore, I think that's pretty much success. If you don't have more than 1, but if you can turn Baltimore over 2 times, 3 times, that can completely shift the balance. And I keep going back to when I was watching Schwarzenegger's tape. His ability to close over the middle on crossing routes. And if you think of what Baltimore does better than anyone, Lamar in general, controls the middle of the field. He controls, that's his. Between those hashes is his. I think that's where they could like finally make some headway against Lamar in the passing game, is finally getting someone who understands undercutting routes.
Yeah, there's certainly an opportunity there. I think our corners match up well with Zay Flowers and DeAndre Hopkins, and really Mark Andrews, because I don't think Isaiah Likely is healthy yet. So if you can take maybe a little bit of liberty with at that linebacker spot, that I think if you could make Lamar uncomfortable. If you can't get to Lamar, right, pick him off, make him uncomfortable somehow.
You gotta force Lamar to not have a chance to really see the field, because he's so smart. Like he's so smart, he's so savvy, and like he will find, if you give him just a little bit too much time, like he's going to either take off, he's going to fire the ball, like maybe he's going to extend the play and then throw the ball, like whatever. He's just so smart and savvy, and he just knows what the hell he's doing. But if you can get to him in 2 seconds, or you can get flustered in 2 seconds, you've got a shot. I do think Schlesinger is going to get some of those little roaming interceptions before this year is over for sure. But yeah, I think getting quick pressure on him is going to be very important. That way he doesn't have an opportunity to sit back and actually read things. And if you're going to do that, you have to maintain your rush lane discipline. If you do not maintain your rush lane discipline, you will get boned. And by that I mean, don't go around him and then he can just run straight up the middle. You need to understand your assignment and stay in your assignment. If you are to push here through the A gap or the B gap or whatever hell gap you're at, push through there and don't create easy escape lanes for him. So I understand, because he's so fast and dynamic, how easy it is and how tempting it is to be like, well, I just got to get to him as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how. Yep. Exactly. I've got to be able to try to negate it. I got to get to him as fast as possible, no matter what that means. Straight, around, what? No. I understand why you would think that. But when you do that, you vacate your rush lane, you give him an easy answer, And Lamar doesn't need easy answers given to him. And if you give them to him, he'll find them. He'll abuse them if you do.
And just another angle. I remember when the Browns played the Ravens at home and beat them last year. They were able to mostly bottle Derrick Henry up. I don't remember his stats specifically, but there was that clip of Grant Delpit laying the wood to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And he did not have a good day.
Yeah. Yeah, he gave him the too small when he did it. When he sat him down. The thing when I always come back to Lamar is like, I think he's the greatest reactionary athlete I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Where like if he sees you coming, you got zero shot. And he'll even hang in there for a second to let you think you have the shot, but he's so good with his reactions, he just steps out of the way and then you vacate the zone. And I think what you said is very true. You just have to remain disciplined in your run fits and your pass lane rush integrity. And it sounds Bill Belichick, just do your job. Don't get outside of yourself. If everyone collectively just does their job, and you have to rally to the damn football, because these guys they'll break one. I mean, the chances are you could play a perfect game and they're still going to have a couple big explosive plays because of the caliber of athletes that they are. But you can't get outside yourself and get discouraged when that happens. You just got to go back the next series and do the exact same. Just do your job. And let's talk about the ugly part. Andre Schmidt here. Okay, we're running back the kicker from last week, and as us on the outside, we don't see what he does in practice. We don't see how what kind of confidence he inspires behind the scenes in Berea. But we're not going to feel great if it's coming down to a field goal kick, and after what we've seen, right? But they're also running a new guy out there. And I know the first few kicks, and MC was in on the group chat about how they already got themselves a killer. Well, that dude missed a crucial kick in the game against Buffalo. Is it? I can see this coming down to being like a kicking thing. I could see this coming down to like the kickers actually having something to say here. Could Schmidt completely redeem himself? Am I crazy? If he goes out there and nails a long one to win this, or are we completely just moving on? And week one was the fluke.
So here's the thing, and I lost my hat. Where the hell did it go? All right. I look really bald from this angle. That's fucking awesome.
I'm not throwing stones in a glass house, brother.
I remember last time I took my hat, somebody made a comment. The last time I looked down, it's probably MC. I think that's who it was. I was looking at, because I was trying to wrap my head around it. I was really surprised they didn't at least work someone out.
Yes, very.
And then when they had an open roster spot for essentially a day, because they filled it today with KJ Henry, but like they had that roster spot for about a day, I was like, I'm fine with running Schmitty out there again. I just kind of think you bring somebody in so they can begin learning the operation, just in case it goes bad again. But like Schmitty's a Lou Groza award winner. Go look at his collegiate career. Like he was an award winner. And then you go look at the fact that he hit in the XFL, he hit 90% of his field goals. He was like 19 of 21 in the XFL. But did you notice something about when you read his stat line just from field goals? Did you notice something that really stuck out in his stat line?
A long of 61?
61.
Yeah.
So I will be nervous when he lines up, but I don't think I'll be Cade York nervous.
Yeah, that's a different kind of nervous. I'll grant you that. There was a wild unpredictability to the flight path of the football that
just never.
Even on the ones that were good, they'd start off bad and get good. So like there was never, the second it came off his foot, there was never like a sense of ease.
Yeah,
you got to hope it fades back in. So I kind of get not bringing someone in this week. Like initially I didn't. When I'm walking out that game on Sunday and I'm like, because everybody's like cut him. Oh, we have to replace him first. You can't just cut him. You have to get another guy in who's better than him. You have to like make them square off, and then. But if you're still trying to instill belief in him, the last thing you want to do is shake that. If he's kicking, because if it's different if it's in practice and these things are happening. But if he's making those in practice and they're all down the middle, the flight path's good, and everything technically sound, give him another crack at it. But we remember how this happened in 18 when you move on. You go get Greg Joseph, and you're moving on from Austin Cyber. It was 2 games. You gave him 2 games, and when it didn't happen in New Orleans in the second game, they immediately went to Greg Joseph. I think you're kind of in the exact same scenario.
And keep in mind, when the Browns are entering this season, they're still hoping Dustin Hopkins is their kicker. They paid him. They thought they had a future there. So it's like they've already gone through one kicker and just been at the end of their rope and cut a guy. So it's like, are you real? Like, we're going to go from paying Dustin Hopkins, cutting him in favor of this guy, and then you're going to give him 1 game, you're going to cut him 2. Like, that just doesn't. I feel like you at least need one more to like, okay, if he misses, if he's Smitty out there on Sunday, you gotta go. That's like, if say the Browns, worst case scenario, because you laid out best case scenario, Casey, where you said if he kicks a game winning field goal, are we good? Personally, yes. But on the other side, if it comes down like you guys are talking, and we lose the kicking battle, we basically lose the game because we lose the kicking battle. At that point, you can't. I'd rather go for 2. I'd rather go for 2. If you play the Bengals and the Ravens close in back-to-back weeks and you lose because of the stupid fucking kicker battle, just go for 2. I've had enough. Oh, no, you can't lose games because of that. You can't. I watched the stupid Steelers make a 58 and 60 and win a game against the Jets that they had no business winning. And like you said, it's every reason to win. Don't.
There was a question in the comments about Harold Fannin. I would pick him up and I wouldn't equate him to Debo per se, but he's going to be a big part of their offense. So I would absolutely, if you got a chance to get Harold Fannin in fantasy, I would at least put him on the bench.
I think Fannin is not even. I really equate him to any even tight end 2s. I think he's like the ultimate version of what they wanted Juszczyk to be in San Francisco.
A better athlete, yeah.
Yeah, he's just the alignment versatility, man. I mean, like, and we haven't seen the last of him run a wildcat. Like, that's going to happen again. He's going to get some carries. He's going to probably run some sweeps before too long. They're going to start running them on screens. It's just, I don't know. That's the thing I was most excited about coming out of that game, is that it's already a thing. I was hoping it would become a thing, and it started off. It is the thing. It's like 9 targets in his first game. I think the sky's the limit for Fannin.
I think one of the most interesting stats is Harold Fannin's first read share was among the highest in the team. I think it was the highest of any Browns receiver, which to use a rookie tight end that way out of the gate is crazy. And we already said, he his ties with Tyler Warren for the most catches in week 1 ever. It's clear that he was heavily involved in the Browns game plan out of the gate, right? And you so rarely get that with a rookie tight end. There's some special sauce cooking here. And I know I'm Mr. Rose-colored glasses, but you just don't. Out of how many tight ends there are and how many get Harold Fannin's usage in week 1 as a rookie tight end, especially on a team with an established tight end, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So I'm stocks to the moon on Harold Fannin.
I got 2 things that I'm going to have to bounce. The Browns are going to have to play a perfect game to win this game. But I do think they have the personnel, and I do think they have the upside to do it. If they can run the ball better, it's a whole different ball game. If they can protect long enough to try to take some deep shots, it's a whole different ball game. But they're going to have to play their best football. Like they played really well last week. I think they got to play even better because Baltimore's just really fucking good. So expectation versus reality is the name of this episode. And the expectation is I don't expect them to win necessarily, but the reality is I do think they can. I think they're better than a lot of people are giving them credit for. You show me You show me a team that's going to hold Joe Burrow to 7.5 yards again.
It won't happen.
It's not going to happen.
It won't happen.
I think
Including Baltimore. Baltimore can't do that to him.
Their defense is really, really good. I think the pass catchers are getting shit all over because of some drops. I thought the wide receiver group was great last week. You drop out 2 fluke interceptions. Flacco throws for over 300 yards again, and they might win that game by 2 scores.
Yeah.
They might win that game by 2 scores if you make your kicks and you don't have 2 drop interceptions that are just absolutely insane. So reality is they're going to have to play really, really good. Are they capable of it? Yes. But you can't have stupid fluky plays like that. You absolutely cannot. And then, real quick, so I forgot to bring this back. I got a trivia question for y'all.
All right. Love it.
Who is, and I can give you some hints. Let me make sure I can bring this up. Can you still hear me?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you hear me then?
No.
No.
Well, you went away.
Okay. All right, hold on. I'll be right back.
The intrigue's killing me. This guy, Houdini style.
Man,
Now you see me, now you don't. I'm interested to see what he brings here.
Okay.
Okay.
Who is the highest earner? See, I can still hear you guys when I go away.
Oh, I got you.
Who for each round, right? So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and undrafted. Who is the highest earner in the NFL, their NFL career in each respected draft round?
Oh, I don't know. That's loaded. In each round, like pick a player from each round of the draft who's the highest earner.
Yeah, who's the highest first round pick ever? What first round picks earn the most money ever? What second round picks earn the most money of any second round pick ever?
Okay. I'll give you, I think Tom Brady was drafted in the 5th, right?
6th.
6th. I'll take Tom Brady in the 6th.
I'd take Kirk Cousins in the 4th.
Okay, those are both correct.
Nice.
Okay,
we're piecing this out.
Drew Brees in the 2nd.
Drew Brees in the 2nd.
Peyton in the 1st.
No.
Russell in the 3rd.
Tough.
Russell in the 3rd.
Okay, so it's all these quarterbacks.
So you got 1st, 5th, 7th, and undrafted. It's not
Undrafted Tony Romo.
Undrafted is Tony Romo.
Ah, nice.
So we're missing 1st and 7th.
1st, 7th, and 5th.
Is it so it's not Peyton. Is it Eli? No, it's not Eli. No, he made less.
Yeah. Purdy in 7th.
Huh?
Brock Purdy.
No, because he hasn't made it yet.
What? He signed his contract?
Yeah, but he hasn't made it yet. He could get hit by a bus and never get it.
Okay. What was my guess? It was Drew, and I thought it was a good guess, Drew. Sorry.
The first rounder is still playing.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, that's a great. Yep.
So the 7th rounder is a quarterback, but the 5th rounder is not.
5th rounder is not a quarterback. Is it Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald was the first round.
He was first round.
I'm sorry. I don't know
You're
why
good.
I thought.
Plays offense, though. And is still playing, actually. The 7th rounder isn't.
5th rounder.
I'm out. I milked my brain. It's over. What you got?
5th rounder is Stephon Diggs.
Okay. I would not have got there. Just for full disclosure.
And your 7th rounder? Fitzmagic.
Oh wow. Damn. Okay, so all quarterbacks except for Diggs.
Except for Diggs. Yeah. I was like, yeah, they're never gonna get Diggs.
No, I would not have.
I would not have. I would never.
University of Maryland.
Well, to be honest with you, I couldn't have told you off the top of my head what round Stephon Diggs went in because he's always been like, it feels like he was good from like day one. So it made me feel like he's a first round pick. You know what I mean? A lot of times those guys are like first or second rounders. So I would have never guessed he was a 5th round pick, like just because it's been that long.
Drew just added in 2 years, Purdy will bump Fitzmagic.
Yeah, Fitzmagic. Yeah, Fitzmagic's number was 82.
That was a good one, Jacob. You got me.
Yeah,
I'm happy we got as far as we did, though.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's better than I would have done.
Hey, Casey put me on his back. I appreciate that. But all right, so I have just a couple thoughts. Please like and subscribe. We love you. Well, I'm not sure when we're coming back to you. Is there another show this week?
I do not believe this week there is another show.
Okay. We're going to
figure that out. It'll be a surprise emergency show, and then you're welcome, I guess.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are if you are peeing in a urinal, don't throw your fucking gum in it. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's dirtbag behavior.
That's gross. Somebody's got to pick it out.
For sure.
Somebody's got to pick it out of there. That's just fucked up.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
My final thoughts are Casey's really smart for bringing up the homecoming game reference, and I hope the Browns kick the shit out of the Ravens all the more. That being said, don't throw your gum in the urinal. This has been another episode of the Barking Brown Show. We lost count a long time ago. Nick, he's Casey. That's Jacob. Go Browns.